Hey, this is Jim Vasilopoulos, and I want to talk about a few really important tips about communicating while we're all working remote. And this is super important because there are things that we don't realize we're missing when we work remote. We can be on Zoom or whatever system you're using and feel like we're having that face-to-face conversation, and we might be able to communicate very effectively, but the reality is we're missing little cues on the side that we don't realize we're missing. So imagine someone else is having a meeting, you weren't invited to that meeting. You see those people when we're working in the office later in the day off on the side, and they're having a conversation and they're smiling and you're like, oh, wonder what's going on over there. But you pass by, they say hello, they look you in the eye, you have a nice friendly conversation, and your imagination doesn't kick in as to why was I not invited to that meeting. If we were in the office and you walk by those people later in the day and they don't make eye contact with you, and you kind of suspect something's up, I wonder what happened in that meeting. Your imagination kind of runs wild with something, but maybe it's confirmed because you have these secondary cues that confirm whether or not your intuition may be right or wrong. When we are working in Zoom and meetings and we don't run into people in the office to get those secondary cues, our imaginations tend to run wild. And the funny thing about our imaginations is they never go to the rational middle. They always go to the extreme crazy ideas and the extreme wonderful ideas that are just, wow, this is spectacular, unicorns and rainbows. They never go to that middle spot. And so when we are missing these secondary cues, it's really important to make sure we manage meetings, manage our communications to ensure that we don't let people's imaginations kick in. Because when people's imaginations kick in, tend to have bad things happen. So imagine we have some meeting, you're not invited, you can see that you weren't invited. Were they talking about layoffs? Was something going on? Is that why I wasn't included? Oh my gosh, your imagination runs crazy. You try and share that information with a friend to say, hey, have you heard anything about layoffs? I heard so-and-so and so-and-so had a meeting earlier today. Now all of a sudden rumors are spreading, imagination is going crazy, all because we didn't follow some simple disciplines with regard to meetings when we don't have those secondary cues. First, meetings have a very clear agenda and title, and make sure it's clear if anyone's even looking at your calendar. Here's the agenda of this meeting. Okay. Also, have discipline in those meetings to stick to that agenda, because if you're constantly going off topic on these meetings and maybe covering other things, no one will ever trust those. So shorter, more disciplined meetings where it's very clear what you're talking about so that no one has to wonder why maybe they were or were not invited into a meeting. Two simple tips: clearly stated agenda and purpose for meetings, maybe shorter meetings, and stay disciplined and focused only on those topics. If you do that, the chances of people running crazy with wild ideas and letting their imagination take over is diminished. It doesn't go away, but it's diminished, and that's a positive thing, because when we lack secondary cues, people's imagination can run wild. That's all I got. Thanks.